Going into it, so first of all, Josh isn't here actually, but yeah, hopefully you found Josh's talk really useful, and the key things obviously we're taking away from that is strength training, cardiovascular training, and mobility as well. And what I want you to do is take from this talk, how can you take the information that he's given you and turn it into something really practical that you can take away? Because like he said, it's so common when you hear information like that to go from like, right, I need to do this to that, okay? And I want you to, do this in a really realistic way that is enjoyable, and then you can actually make sure you're living well for life, rather than live well for 2 weeks. Doesn't quite have the same ring to it, okay? Definitely not going to rebrand again to live well for 2 weeks, okay? What we're going to do, obviously talk is called All or Nothing is Getting You Nowhere. Here's what actually works for lifelong consistency. So who here has heard of that term all or nothing, or maybe referred to themselves as, oh, I'm a bit all or nothing? Just hands up if you've ever done that, okay? Me too, okay? So I'm not perfect. This is from, real lessons as well. As you can tell from the title, I'm not a fan of all or nothing, and I'll share with you why, and I'll share with you actually what is going to work in a better way, okay? So we'll get stuck straight into it. First question, okay, has anyone ever had a flat tire on their car? I've had one. Yeah, hands up if you have ever had a flat tire. Okay, everyone. Okay, good. I was hoping you said that. Now, have any of you ever had a flat tire and thought, sod it, I might as well pop the rest of them? I know. I wasn't sure if they're going to be like young people or whatever, but has anyone ever done this and thought, oh, I've got one, I might as well just pop the rest of them? Who's done that? Have you? Okay. Okay, your car's a bit broken. You're an exception, okay? Why don't we do that? Okay, why would we not do that? Exactly. It makes no sense, does it? It's like very stupid. Okay, it's very irrational. Okay, you're not going to do that with it. Sorry, Rach. But it makes no sense, does it? You're not going to do it with that. So who here likes a biscuit? Yeah, I love a biscuit. My favourite are these little Fox's chocolate rounds. Anyone ever had those? Oh God, they are glorious. But yeah, so there's a few biscuit lovers, okay? Now, who's ever had one biscuit and thought, sod it, I've ruined it, so I might as well have the whole packet? Who's ever done that? Yes, me too. Okay, all right. Okay, can you see where I'm going with this? Okay, and another example. Have you ever been perfect with your training food all week, and then maybe someone's like, oh, do you want to go for a pint? Or do you want to, or maybe someone brings cake into the office or something. And then you think, sod it, I've ruined it, and I'll start again on Monday. Okay, anyone done that? Yeah? Okay. Okay, good, I'm glad. Okay, that is the all or nothing approach. Okay, and it is the thing that's killing your consistency, okay? So, if it's killing our consistency, then why do we do it? Okay, what is the actual point? Well, if we feel highly uncomfortable, i.e. we maybe have a health scare, we maybe go on holiday, we don't feel great in our body, maybe we can't play with the kids, we feel really out of breath, we're going to feel very uncomfortable. And then in that circumstance, you're going to want to take drastic action. Okay, so you're like, right, I need to do everything. And it kind of makes sense, okay, because you're going to get very quick results if you do that, okay? But remember, we're trying to live well for life, not for 2 weeks. So it will work probably for about 2 weeks, or Monday to Thursday, but we want to go for longer than that, okay? So it doesn't work long term. Also, and hopefully by the end of this, you are going to be aware of another way, but we aren't aware of another way. It's like that's the only way that we can actually get results is by doing something super drastic. My training has to be perfect, my nutrition has to be perfect, I have to be on a diet, I have to track every single thing. And like, if that's the only way you've ever gotten any sort of results, then, you don't know what else to do, So that's what I want to fix within this. And I want you to leave here being aware of, okay, Isaac, if that doesn't work, what else can I do? Okay, so that's what we're going to go through in a little minute. So also the benefits as well. Like as humans, we're not stupid, okay? We will not do something that has no benefit whatsoever, okay? So, take something like emotional eating, stress eating. Okay, that's a really common thing that serves a purpose that a lot of people will do. Say if you had a stressful day at work and you have a glass of wine, or a stressful day at work and you eat some ice cream, okay? In the moment, that's risky. In the moment, that's going to give you a positive, okay? Now, that positive in that example would be comfort, okay? If you're stressed, it's going to give you something helpful, okay? So it's really, the reason I'm bringing that up is because it makes it much easier to not beat yourself up when we recognize we are actually doing it for a reason. Like we're not broken, we're not just going to do it randomly, because we will never do something if there's no positive whatsoever. Okay, so it's important to recognize that. So what are the benefits of being all or nothing? Well, you can get fast results. Okay, if you go to that and you stick to it for 2 weeks, you're gonna probably lose a few pounds. You're gonna feel better, okay, in the short term. So you can get very fast results. It also simplifies decision making. Okay, it makes it, if you're like, right, I need to be on the wagon, that's good, that's good, that's good, this is bad, it makes decision making very, very easy, okay, because you're like, well, I just do that, okay? But unfortunately, we are humans and we have to think, okay? So for a long-term solution, it doesn't work because, whose week this week, if you think about what's happened from Monday till now, whose week this week looked a bit different to last week, okay? You might have been working away, you might have been off work, you might have had exactly. Every single week is going to look different. So just having good and bad isn't going to work because under different contexts, some things are going to be helpful, some things are going to be unhelpful. So we need to learn to think, okay, and how to do this properly. And I want to just draw a little diagram to show you why it doesn't work long term and what it's actually doing to your results. So 2 seconds, and let me share this. But hopefully that is useful so far. Here we go. Let me try this. Sorry guys, chat amongst yourself for a second. Here we go, if I kick that off. Does anyone want a biscuit? Yeah. 2 secs. Let's try again. I haven't had lunch yet. Josh, do you want to help me? I'm not sure what's happening here. I know, it's the pressure. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's in. Magic, look at that. Isn't he good? Wow. Incredible. You've got to teach me, man. That was epic. Okay, so you can all see that, which is great. So this is the all or nothing and what it will actually do to your results, okay? I'm going to put that in red because it's not helpful. So this dotted line here, this is kind of like your comfort level. Okay, this is like the level of results where you feel comfortable. It's not like urgent, you don't hate your body or feel unfit or anything like that. That's the point where you can be, the pressure's off, I'm okay with this, okay? Now, if down here, you're very uncomfortable, okay, that flat line there. So just think, drastic action, we're very uncomfortable, we need to actually do something. So up here, we're gonna take action. And then we're going to get to, so that might take 2 weeks, okay? So you're going to get up to that comfort level, and then both the urgency is dropping, and also, say if you can't be perfect, and you're like, oh, sod it, I might as well have the rest of the biscuits. It's the then cascade of negative thoughts that come with that mean, there's no point. Sod it, I'm going to stop, okay? And then, I'm really uncomfortable again, so I'm just going to do something, and then, actually, now I'm fine, and I can't be out. And honestly, it will just keep going between the same bit, okay? Now, like, it's very common for a lot of people, I speak to obviously a lot of people and help people do this all the time, they might lose the same £10 and then gain the same £10 for years, okay? Because this is exactly what's happening. Drastic action, drastic inaction. And long term, it doesn't make any sense because what's happening is obviously this line here isn't ever growing. It's not ever like being invested in to actually improve. So that's what's happening with the all or nothing, okay? Now, if we look at something that's going to be a little bit more realistic and consistent, okay, we've got the comfort level here, okay, this is where we feel good. We're going to do something, okay, it's not super drastic, so it might not be as a sharp a line of results, but then we might go off track, okay, but because we're doing it in a different way, which I'll explain what that new way is, we're not going to beat ourselves up as much, so that the lows, and when we go off track, it's not as big, okay? We don't go off track for as long. So as a principle, and then we can realign ourselves and get back on track. Oh, okay, I go off track again, but it's all right, I know what to do. And over time, this actual level of results, I can't do the whole thing, is actually going to grow, okay? So that's kind of the difference. Does that make sense? Yeah, awesome. Right, this is where I've got to stop this. I might need Josh again. But is this useful so far? Yeah? Awesome. Here we go. Oh, pro now. Oh, maybe not. Okay, so that, yeah, I know. And that's why it doesn't work long term, okay? And this is really important as well. If the only signal for you to do something about your health and fitness is when there's a problem, i.e., oh God, I hate how I'm feeling right now, you will always associate your fitness with a negative, okay, if that's the only driver. And the big difference between the people who train consistently for years, like for me, I've trained consistently now for 14 years, maybe 15 years, since I was like 13, 14, okay? And all the people that I think of who are consistent for years, they focus on the benefits. And imagine you're like driving a car, and instead of driving at the start, you look in the rear view mirror and you're like, that's horrible, I need to get away from that. But you can't do that forever, because at some point you're gonna just veer off course. So at some point you need to turn around and look at, right, where am I going? What are the benefits it's bringing me? What are the nice things that I'm actually gonna get from it? Because if we're gonna do this for years, like, it's gotta be empowering, it's gotta be motivating. And like going towards something positive is much nicer than getting away from, I feel shit. Do you know what I mean? So that's really important, okay? If you only train and eat well, when there's a problem, you'll always associate your fitness with a negative. And that's not gonna work for living well for life, okay? So I think we've established, okay, all or nothing is illogical, doesn't make any sense long term, okay? It doesn't allow you to ever achieve actual results long term, and you'll always associate it with a negative, which isn't very motivating or empowering, okay? So what is the solution? Okay, this is what we obviously want to know. Now, with this, I've got 3 things here. So 2 of them are more tactical that you could literally just do now. You guys might be thinking ahead. Try and contextualize it over what's coming up over the next week. Maybe when you're going to do a training session, when you're going to do a food shop and stuff like that. Just think about the next week. 2 of them are pretty tactical. You can literally do them right now. And then one of them is going to be a bit more of a longer term self-awareness strategy that the better you get is going to keep you on track longer term, okay? So the first one is called range targets. Okay, now range targets is really, really simple. Instead of setting yourself one goal where you say, I'm going to train every day, okay? That gives you 1 point to succeed and 1 point to fail, okay? So if you want to train every day, that's 7 days a week, what happens if you train 6 times? How might you see that? Any ideas? Okay, you have failed, you know? Even though you've done 6 sessions, because the goal was 7 times a week, you have failed, okay, which is negative. So what we're going to do with a range target is instead of having one solid figure, you're going to give yourself a range, okay? So it's just more realistic for life, okay? Some busy weeks, you might only get in 3 times. Some weeks, you might get 7, okay? And then that's a Brucey bonus, okay? So here's how it would look, okay? So the old way, without range targets, might be I want to train every day, okay? The new way with a range target is I want to train between 3 and 5 times per week, okay? That is literally it. So you can instantly change any goal that you're doing now and you can put a range on it, okay? If you're doing, even if someone's doing a weightlifting session, or rather than I need to hit 50 kilos today, it would be great if I hit between 45 and 55 kilos. Okay? Because then you listen to your body. Some days it'll feel great, you might even exceed that, but other days you might not, okay? But it just allows you to adapt for how you're feeling. Old way, I need to eat 1,500 calories a day, okay? That's just one example. The new way with range targets is I need to eat between 1,500 and 2,000 calories a day. Okay? Now that number is an arbitrary number. The amount of calories you guys would need is relative to your weight, your starting point, your goals, activity levels. So don't take that as gospel. This is just an example, okay? But that's the difference between doing it. And just to explain a little bit further on this, say if your goal was weight loss or fat loss, obviously we need to reduce that slightly. So say if we took 2,000 calories a day to maintain our weight, we would want to be under that even by a little bit, consistently in order for us to lose weight. Now, if we were using this, okay, and we were like, I need to eat 1,500 calories a day, and you eat 1,600 calories a day, what happens? Okay, how are you going to see that? Yeah, you're going to want the biscuits, aren't you? Okay, you failed. Okay, you have failed at the goal you set. But if we look at it more logically with a range target, actually, you're still in a 400 calorie deficit. You are still on track, okay? But now you've set the right goal, so you're not going to beat yourself up, okay? Which is really important. Because often, like, the reason we'll go off track is not that we're actually off track, it's that we think we failed because we set ourselves targets like this, and then we beat ourselves up and we think, what's the point? Okay, that's the actual problem. So can you see how that is going to change how you see things? Even if you went to 2,000 calories, it's like you're just pressing pause for the day. You're maintaining it. You could do 2,000 calories a day, 2 or 3 days a week, and then the other 3 or 4, you could be below that, and you're still moving forward. You are still actually doing really well, but that's obviously just a nice way to do it, okay? Does anyone have any questions on a range target? Or does that make sense? Okay. Yes.
Is there a sort of upper limit level you should give yourself, 5%, 10%?
Good question.
Or does that vary between people?
Good question. Yeah, it's going to vary. I think a lot of the time, when it comes to things like, say if it's a strength number, like say if you deadlift 60 kilos, you can put a bit more of a percentage on that because you're not going to lift 20% over your 1 rep max. So you can probably look at that a bit more in a percentage way. So like, yeah, if I'm within 10% of this target either way, that's quite a nice way to do it. If it's, I'm a big advocate of going like off feeling based as well. Like, I think sometimes it's just what feels right for today, you know, and if you can do both, like data's really good. You obviously want to have data so that you're not just basing all your decisions off, oh, I feel rubbish today, so the whole day is bad. It's good to have data, but I also like what feels right today, you know? So it will, to answer your question, it will vary between people. Some things like also running paces, obviously you guys are runners, you can probably put more of a percentage on it, but also pair it with how you feel, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's a good question though. Any other questions on that? All right. Most importantly, can you think about any of your goals right now, can you see how using that would change what your goals are right now, okay? That's the most important thing. So that's a range target, really easy to implement, okay? The next one is to zoom out, okay? And what I mean by this is, I know I've just spoken about a weekly basis, but rather than looking at things like daily and weekly, think about 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, sometimes a year, okay? I don't know if anyone follows me on Instagram, but last year I tallied up, and I still do it this year actually, I just don't post it every day. But I'm still using it. I have a whiteboard, and every single training session, run, time I play golf, time I play tennis, I go and I put a tally on, just because I'm weird like that. But it's really nice, and it's very, very motivating to do. And the reason I did it was because I was being quite inconsistent with my training, and I was prioritizing working and going and having fun, and it wasn't where I wanted it to be. So what I did was add that in, and I set myself a yearly target of 200. I finished on 199, but that's a story for another day. But it worked, okay? Like, my consistency now is way higher because I'm looking at the longer term picture, okay? And again, a few examples of this is the old way is I want to train 5 times per week, okay? The new way, by zooming out, is I'd like to train between 12 and 20 times over the next 4 weeks, okay? So that would be based off the previous example here, pardon me. If you wanted to train 3 to 5 times per week, that's what I've based it off. So obviously the lower limit, we're still using a range target, okay, would be 12 sessions over 4 weeks. That's an average of 3 a week. The upper limit would be 20. That would be an average of 5 a week, okay? So what that allows for is some weeks you might get 3. Some weeks you might get 6. Some weeks you might get 4. But it means you're looking at that, and again, a longer time horizon, and you're going to be more logical with your decision making, and you're actually still on track. You've got plenty of time to make it up elsewhere, okay? So that's a really effective way to do it. You can do 4 weeks, and like I said, I did a yearly target. The first half of the year, I was way behind schedule. I had illness, I went on holiday a few times, but the second half of the year, it gave me the urgency. I've still got 6 months. And I completely bumped it up, and then I got very close to it, you know, and it achieved what it needed to. The old way, I need to eat 1,500 calories a day. New way, a different way of thinking about it, if I eat between 10,500 and 14,000 calories over a week, that still achieves the same thing, okay? So on the weekend, like typically, we will eat a bit more on the weekend because we're going to see friends, we might go for a meal out, we might have a drink or something like that, just more indulgent food. So if we allow ourselves to do that, now I'm not saying starve yourself through the week so you can do that, because that presents a different problem, but just the natural kind of ebb and flow of life, okay? It's not going to be the same every day, and if we have pressure to like fit ourselves into a box of I need to eat the same every day, then more pressure equals less enjoyment equals bigger negative spiral if we don't do it, okay? So that just allows, you know, a little bit less pressure there. Does anyone have questions on that one? No? It's quite simple. Again, those are super tactical. It's really quite simple to do, but it just then changes how you think about it. So the last one is master the middle, okay? So I'm gonna, again, hopefully share the iPad on this. This one is so those are super tactical. This one is a little bit more improving your self-awareness around what this would actually look like for you. And I'll explain the concept now, if I can do this successfully. So what I would recommend for this bit as well, whilst I sort this out, if you either have, there are some pens and paper on there, either that, or if you have notes on your phone, this will be really useful. Okay, so if you grab that, this is best done as a practical exercise. Okay, everyone got something? Okie dokie. So this is master in the middle. This is what this actually means. So let's go. So what we have here are some lines, okay, as you can see. Now, at this end, we are going to have all. Okay, now this end, we're going to have nothing. Okay, now what a lot of people think, obviously, hopefully you guys are starting to come away from this now after listening to this, but what a lot of people see is anything below this is not good. If I do not do perfect, it's not good. Okay, and then people will see this as the best thing. Okay, do you see why that would happen? Like the ideal, what Josh has just explained, is to do that many sessions of strength training, that many sessions of cardio training, 10 minutes a day of mobility, whatever. If I don't do that, it's terrible. If I miss one session, it's terrible. Okay, we now know that is not helpful because we're going to then go off track. Okay, because we're going to beat ourselves up because we have failed in what we set ourselves. So what master in the middle is actually recognizing that this bit here, all or perfect, is actually red. Okay, and the reason that's red is because it is unsustainable. Okay, like we said, that you will have some weeks where everything goes to plan, it feels incredible, and when they come, enjoy them. Like definitely, like I love it when that happens, but it's quite few and far between. And if we have the expectation that that's always going to happen, then we're always going to fall short, or very often. Okay, so all is actually red. Okay, it's not where we want to spend the most time. We don't want to be at nothing. Okay, nothing does suck. That's not helpful. If we're doing no mobility, no strength, no cardio training, that is not helpful for our health. Okay, we don't want to be there either. So master in the middle, as you can probably tell, is that the zone we want to spend the majority of our time is this middle section here. Okay, this is the middle. And rather than spending all of our time here, or trying to, we're actually trying to spend all of our time here. And occasionally, over time, it's okay to slip up here, to go up into all, but it is going to need to come back to here, to be realistic, because we're trying to live well for life, not live well for 2 weeks, okay? But it's also okay, sometimes we'll slip down here. If we injure ourselves, if we get really ill, it's going to happen, okay? It is going to happen, but if we can just bring it back to here, that's great. So this is the zone we want to be in the majority of the time. So what I want to do, and the reason I got you to get the paper, is most people can clearly identify what perfect would be. Okay, who here has an idea of what perfect week would be with regards to health or like training, nutrition, or has an idea? It might be a certain number of sessions. You might get a few runs in, a few strength sessions. You might have your meal prep done or whatever, prepared a lunch, whatever it is. Okay, most people will identify that. People can also identify nothing. Okay, because they're extremes. It's a lot easier to identify extremes, which means this bit where we're actually trying to spend most of the time, nobody has a clue what that would actually look like, because people think, oh, we don't want to be there. There's no point. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, is identify what these points are. Now, the first one is this. So I want you to take a few minutes, and I am going to play some music. Okay. Anyone who's been on any of my calls and stuff knows that I like playing the music, okay? We're going to identify this. So just a few examples. Perfect might be, I might train 5 times, okay? It might be no chocolate, okay? No biscuits, okay? This might be perfect. Who's feeling attacked right now? You get the picture, okay? So have 2 minutes and identify what this perfect is and just jot them down for you, okay? Have a few minutes and then we'll carry on afterwards. It's disconnected me from the speaker. Here we go. No. Oh, there we go. Saved by the bell. Yeah. So yeah, have 2 minutes. If you haven't got pen and paper, do it on the notes on your phone. Yeah, there we go. See, yeah, that'd be good. Or just have a think about it. Ah, well done. Okay, have another 30 seconds. Nice one, guys. So, hopefully you've got a few ideas down there, okay? I want you to do exactly the same now for this bit, for nothing. So it might be no training. It might be I spend all day on the sofa. It might be, you get the idea. Okay, whatever comes up for you, okay? Nothing. What would the worst be? Okay, you're doing nothing to contribute to your health. Yeah. Okay, 30 seconds. Nice one. That was a quick 30 seconds, but everyone looks ready. So, last bit, okay? So now this makes it a lot more helpful because you've now got the reference points. We need to think about what might that middle look like, okay? So thinking about the concepts of a range target, thinking about over a longer period of time as well, what would this be, okay? It might be, you know, God, quick maths, it's not my strong point. How many would that be? It might be, 200 sessions in a year. Okay, it might be something like that. You can still put things in on a weekly basis because that might help you make sense of what do I need to do each week. So it might be the 3 to 5 per week as an example. It might be 2 to 4. It might, whatever that is for you. Okay, it might be I might eat I don't know, chocolate on the weekends. Okay, something like that. It might be I might have 1 or 2 drinks per week. Whatever it is for you, it's all relative, okay? It's all relative. There's no judgment at all on anything. Okay, so what might that look like? Okay, have 2 minutes because this will be the hardest one to identify. But really think about it through the lens that we've just spoken about. I don't want you to go from, you know what to do. It's got to be realistic for what you currently do. Okay, that's the most important thing. Does it feel manageable? All right. So hopefully we've now everyone got at least some ideas on there? Yeah? Cool. So that's master in the middle. So obviously you can probably see how that's going to take a bit of a longer time because it will be a gradual change in like your mindset of how you're doing it. But if you're now aware of what things to look out for, so that you know, right, oh, actually this week I've done 5 sessions, 7 sessions, that's my all. So I need to be aware that that's probably not going to happen every single week. How am I going to, in general, accept I need to come back to the middle at some point. Okay, if you're at nothing, how can you, right, I know what to look out for now. I'm eating, ice cream for breakfast. Oh, that's not great. I need to bring that back to the middle, okay? So that's a more gradual thing. But yeah, that's master in the middle. So in summary, guys, all or nothing is a short-term strategy. It works very well for a week or 2, but to live well for life, it's never going to work, okay? It just doesn't. It's illogical and doesn't allow for life. Long-term consistency happens when you start focusing on the positives it's giving you rather than getting away from the negatives of, oh, I feel really bad. Use the range targets instead of one solid figure. Never set one solid figure because that's success or failure, and then it just doesn't help at all. Use the range targets and zoom out over a longer period of time as well, okay? Last one is to master the middle, and obviously you've identified that of how you do it. So that was everything, guys. So if you have any questions, let me know, but I hope you found that useful. And thanks for giving up your time on a Saturday as well. All right, perfect. Cool. Thanks, guys. Any questions on any of that? Or great. Love it. Thanks, mate. Hope it got you to think. Did it make you think differently about how you're approaching the stuff? Cool. That's the most important thing. Okay. That's great. Thanks, guys. Well done. Thanks. Nice. I don't know if Josh has anything else left, but yeah. Yeah, brilliant. Fantastic. Yeah, thanks, guys.
There's definitely no way.